Hello! Today, we'll continue the series Mystery Cases with a very special case in Wutai City, Jiangsu Province, China. What makes this case particularly unusual is how the police discovered and found the victim in an unexpected way. The victim's family never reported or searched for the victim. They simply disappeared unnoticed. This case truly demonstrates the effectiveness and usefulness of alcohol in the investigation process. Without the drunken slip-up, this case would have remained a mystery. Let's explore the bizarre details of this case together. Hello, I'm Joe. Welcome to Chinese Crimes Channel, specializing in real crime cases in China. On the evening of March 15, 2013, the Wutai City Police Station in Jiangsu Province conducted a comprehensive inspection of drug-related locations in the area under its jurisdiction. First, they checked the usual drug trafficking spots, followed by individual areas. During the inspection and raid based on information and reports from the public, the police unexpectedly discovered and arrested a man who was intoxicated after using drugs in a room. At the same time, they seized 27 grams of drugs and some drug-related paraphernalia in this room. This man, when sober, confessed that his name was Lu, 40 years old, and he had come to Wutai City after failing in business and gambling, losing all of his money. Therefore, he wanted to use drugs as a way to comfort himself and forget about the hardships of life, unrelated to any drug trafficking network. However, according to the criminal procedure law of China, using drugs over 10 grams will result in criminal responsibility. Lu's case involved possession of 27 grams of drugs, nearly 3 times the minimum amount. Therefore, Lu was arrested according to the law and awaited trial. After learning that he could be sentenced to 3 years in prison, Lu felt extremely regretful and remorseful. He tried to manipulate the prison guards to reduce his sentence. However, only good performance could lead to a reduction in sentence according to the criminal procedure law of China. Lu came here as if stepping into the light at the end of a dark road since being arrested. He was always worried and afraid of the detention procedures and experiences living with other prisoners that Lu had heard his fellow inmates talk about before. Therefore, Lu immediately asked about the criteria for being considered as having good performance and receiving assistance from the prison guards. It was known that there was a report related to a murder case. It was to be considered a special achievement and could reduce the prison sentence. Lu was very pleased to hear the clear answer from the police officer. He thanked them and said he would think about it and then confess. 2 days later, Lu provided information about a murder case in hopes of reducing his sentence. This information was simply a story that a few years ago, when he was drinking with a friend named Wu Guoqiu, while intoxicated, Guoqiu told Lu that a friend of his had confessed to killing his ex-girlfriend in a recent drinking session. However, this information was vague and uncertain as its accuracy because Lu only heard Guoqiu recounting it while intoxicated and didn't know who the friend Guoqiu was referring to, and it all happened while they were drunk. Although these were vague statements with no additional details, because human life is important, the police immediately began investigating. Not long after, the police found the man, Wu Guoqiu, that Lu had mentioned. When the police came and asked him about the incident that Lu reported, Wu Guoqiu was very surprised to learn that his drunken words had become information for the police to investigate the case. However, Guoqiu explained that he had nothing to do with the murder case in that story. He also heard this information from a friend named Chen Xiaowei and was not sure whether these words were true or not. Wu Guoqiu recounted that he had known Chen Xiaowei for many years, about 8 years before they met at dinner at Xiaowei's house. After getting tipsy from alcohol, the two confided in each other about their romantic struggles, which dampened the mood of the conversation. At this point, Chen Xiaowei sighed and said, "I killed Mao Mao." Wu Guoqiu knew that Mao Mao was Chen Xiaowei's beautiful girlfriend. Although slightly startled by the statement, he thought it was just a drunken nonsense. Later, he told his story to Lu and even to a few others while drinking. Like a funny tale about someone admitting to the murder while drunk. At this point, it couldn't be called a case yet, as it was just hearsay without evidence heard from someone else, with no crime scene, time of the crime, and the mentioned victim Mao Mao's identity. Based on the information provided by Wu Guoqiu, the police found Chen Xiaowei, born in 1976, who lived in a new area of the city. Previously, he lived in the suburbs, but this area was later expanded. The police checked Chen Xiaowei's records and found that he had a clean record, no legal violations, and no reports of missing or unidentified female victims in the area. Therefore, identifying the girl named Mao Mao was crucial. The police decided to investigate Chen Xiaowei's romantic relationships from various angles to learn more about Mao Mao. According to community members where Chen Xiaowei lived, he had no bad habits, no conflicts with neighbors, and few girlfriends. In 2006, Chen Xiaowei got married and had a child. Before getting married, he had another girlfriend nicknamed Mama. However, the community members didn't know Mama's real name. In 2003, Mama came to work in Wutai City and rented a house near Chen Xiaowei's family. Chen Xiaowei and Mama developed a romantic relationship. However, Chen Xiaowei's parents disagreed with him marrying a distant working girl and having to live in hardship. Therefore, Chen Xiaowei agreed with his parents and left home for a while. However, many things were still unclear. The police needed to determine why this girl was killed. Additionally, if Chen Xiaowei was the culprit, it was unclear why he didn't flee the hometown, but instead continued to live, marry, and have a child normally. To gather more information about Mama, the police contacted the landlord whom she had rented from 8 years ago. Luckily, the landlord not only remembered Mao Mao, but also remembered the amount of rent that she'd paid. This was particularly noteworthy because Mao was a rare surname, making the landlord impressed. Based on this valuable information, the police searched the nationwide household registered system and found a total of 10 women with the surname Mao. After eliminating those who don't fit the age criteria, investigators printed photos of 4 young women for the landlord to identify. Through observing each photo, the landlord recognized the girl known as Mama, who had rented the house. According to the household registration system, this young woman had a household registration in Jiangxi province named Mao Xiaokan. After identifying the girl's identity, the next step for the police was to confirm whether Mao Mao was still alive. However, finding the exact address of Mama's family was difficult because the registration information didn't provide detailed addresses, only the city. This made it time-consuming for the police to locate her family quickly. During this process, investigators searched for Mao Zikan's name in the National Missing Persons list but found no traces. Furthermore, according to the banking system, there were no transaction records related to Mao Mao over the past 8 years, although she had previously had regular transactions through her bank account. This indicated that during those 8 years, this young woman left no trace of her existence in society. However, based solely on these clues, it wasn't enough to conclude that Mao Mao was dead. Finally, after the relentless efforts of the Jiangxi police, they found Mao Mao's family. Her relatives said the last contact with her was around May 2005, when she called from Wutai to borrow money from her family. Zhao Kan, the youngest daughter in the family, showed strength and stubbornness from a young age. She was always curious about life and eager to work far away to earn money. But Chinese society at that time had the expectation that a girl should live more modestly. Her family knew she was living with her boyfriend named Chen in Wutai. When she called home for money, but because the family was not wealthy, they refused her request. Afterwards, Xiao Kan didn't contact home anymore, and her family assumed she was still with her boyfriend and not contacting them out of anger. Now, 8 years have passed, and not only the police, but everyone is surprised by their daughter's disappearance without reporting it or assuming she's just sulking. This situation is truly difficult to explain with the strange psychology of Zhao Kan's family. On April 1, 2013, Wutai police summoned Chen Xiaowei for questioning. Chen Xiaowei did not hide and admitted his romantic relationship with Xiao Kan. He said that since they lived together in 2005, he'd realized Xiao Kan's unsuitable character. She often had a hot temper and conflicted with him over trivial matters. Therefore, the two often argued and eventually decided to peacefully break up. He heard that Xiao Kan had left Wutai to live with another man, and he had not contacted her since. The police had no evidence to refute this statement. Currently, the case is difficult, with no specific evidence to determine whether Xiao Kan is dead or not. The police have no evidence to show that Chen Xiaowei is involved in the case. Even within the police force, there are divergent opinions on this case. Some police officers believe that the origin of the case is hearsay from one person to another. Furthermore, if Chen Xiaowei had committed the murder, where would the body be? Why wasn't there a corpse found after many years? And why didn't he flee after committing the crime? Whereas usually murderers would surely face the death penalty. What could make the culprit so confident and calm? Other police officers still firmly believe that Chen Xiaowei is suspicious. Xiao Kan has been missing for 8 years with no trace indicating that she's alive. Since she lived with Chen Xiaowei, he also admitted to killing his girlfriend while intoxicated. This is a coincidence that needs clarification. Given the conflicting opinions, Wutai police leadership decided to investigate suspicious points related to Xiao Kan's previous renters. However, after 8 years, all traces had faded, and the house had gone through many new renters, leaving no trace to investigate. During the investigation, the police continued to gather information about the surrounding area and discovered that every family here had a well except Chen Xiaowei's house. A police officer asked an elderly neighbor woman about this and received information that 2005, the well at Xiaowei's house suddenly had a foul smell, and the residents here were worried that the water source had been contaminated. However, strangely, only Xiaowei's well had a foul smell, while all the other well water remained clean and full. Currently, the families here still use water from the well. This detail immediately attracted the attention and suspicion of the police. They then met and talked with Chen Xiaowei's older sister. She said that in 2005, their family's well did indeed have an unusual foul smell and couldn't be used anymore. Therefore, the family filled in the well and built a new house over it. Since 2005, when Mao Zhaokan borrowed money from the family without any news from her, as well as when the well at Chen Xiaowei's house no longer had a foul smell, people came to an unwanted conclusion that Xiao Kan's body might have been thrown into the well by Chen Xiaowei, and then a house was built over it to conceal the crime. The police force immediately organized manpower and accurately determined the location of the wellhead. They used a jackhammer to break the tile floor in Chen Xiaowei and his wife's bedroom to access the wellhead. After the concrete layer broke, an iron plate was revealed. The police had to make a great effort to break this iron plate. Then, a round well mouth was revealed in front of everyone. To create psychological pressure, the police brought Chen Xiaowei, who always insisted on his innocence, to the scene to witness the process of breaking the bricks and inspecting the well, while observing his reactions. However, Chen Xiaowei remained calm. It was a well deeper than 5 meters and unused for 8 years, so the water level was quite high. The police used a water pump to drain the water from the well. After more than an hour of work, when the well was dry, the police shone a flashlight down into the well and inspected it. However, no corpse was found, and when Chen Xiaowei did not show any signs of worry, disappointing the police. Nevertheless, the police did not give up because they applied logical reasoning based on the folk belief that filling the well creates an imbalance of yin and yang, and this is the negative part of the house. After much thought, the police realized that building a house over the well was not reasonable, especially since Mao Zhaokan had been missing for 8 years without being discovered. Therefore, they decided to use equipment to dig up the entire house and the bottom of the well. At this point, Chen Xiaowei's psyche completely collapsed, and he began to confess to the events of 8 years ago. Initially, Chen Xiaowei and Mao Zhaocan were a very happy couple, but after they moved in together, conflicts over emotions and money frequently occurred. Due to their young age and unfamiliarity with managing expenses, they lived in an abnormal state, sometimes spending lavishly when they had money, then facing scarcity and having to borrow. During this time, Chen Xiaowei became acquainted with and attracted to another girl, who later became his wife. Gradually, he became disgusted with his relationship, and when he proposed to break up, Mao Zhaocan refused. In the end, in a quarrel with no one yielding to the other, unintentionally, he strangled and killed Zhaocan. Out of fear, Chen Xiaowei covered up the crime by placing Zhaocan's body in a white plastic bag, throwing it into the well inside the house. Worried that someday the police would discover it, he continued to throw large stones down and secretly poured a large amount of cement to seal the bottom of the well during the house's construction process. If it were just a simple draining of the water, the police would not have been able to discover Zhaocan's corpse. This made Chen Xiaowei very confident and unafraid during the police investigation. However, everything has come to an end. In the interview, Chen Xiaowei revealed that over the years he had always been worried about the discovery of the corpse under the well. Therefore, he decided to build the house over the well and chose his own bedroom to lie over Zhaocan's body. It's hard to imagine what his psyche was like. Every day, he hugged Zhaocan's grave and slept soundly for 8 years. Chen Xiaowei was still confident that his plan had no flaws, so he lived peacefully with his wife and child in the house containing the corpse of his former lover. Perhaps no one would have discovered this horror if it weren't for that drunken confession. The dark story would probably never have been investigated if it weren't for his friend revealing it in a drunken conversation. In the end, Chen Xiaowei was sentenced to death, and that friend helped Lu reduce his sentence from 3 years in prison to just 1 year of suspended sentence for possessing 27 grams of banned substances. Although there are many coincidences, the role of the Wutai police is also very important. As long as they participate in the investigation, whenever they feel stuck, there seems to be new directions. Perhaps Zhaocan still holds a grudge at the bottom of the well. And this is today's case. Do you have any thoughts to share? Leave a comment below. Chinese Crimes will continue to analyze real cases in China in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to support us. For now, goodbye and see you next time.